Hello everyone, the holiday season is upon us and I for one could not be more excited, but we have Halloween coming up and then we have the whole cascade of holidays that follow Halloween. And while this season is full of joy and happiness, this tends to be the season that people simultaneously kind of like forget about fitness, but also feel extreme guilt about fitness and health. Because usually our healthy habits tend to kind of disintegrate during this season, and this can often lead to a little bit of weight gain or just developing unhealthy habits that can down the line snowball into weight gain. So today I wanted to make a quick little video about how to avoid the either holiday weight gain itself or just the guilt when it comes to fitness around the holiday season. Because like I always say, fitness should feel good. It shouldn't be something that's causing you guilt, causing anxiety, causing all of these negative emotions to come up. So I'm hoping this video can help you stay feeling good in the holiday season when it comes to fitness, whatever that may look like for you. So if you're excited to dive in, give this video a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below and let me know which holiday that is coming up this season you are most looking forward to and why. I personally am most looking forward to those couple days like post-Christmas, pre-New Year's, where the whole world just kind of stops. Everything gets a little more quiet. No one wants to do anything between Christmas and New Year's. It's just a very peaceful time of year. Anywho, tip number one for how to have a stress-free holiday season when it comes to fitness is something that is a little bit too late to implement for this year, but could be helpful for next year and all future years, and that is reverse dieting. Now, I have talked ad nauseum about reverse dieting on my channel, so I will not make this whole video about that. But long story short, if you take a couple months to reverse diet, speed up your metabolism by 500 calories, 1,000 calories, however many calories you need to speed it up by to get to the point where you're eating literally as much as you could ever want to eat and maintaining weight, then you can go into the holiday season without worrying about any amount of weight gain because you're gonna be able to eat anything you want and not gain weight. Magic of reverse dieting. It's incredible. Now, it is too late to reverse diet before the holiday season because you need a couple months, but if you want to prepare yourself for next year and all future years, I am relaunching Reverse Dieting 101 in January. That is my comprehensive course on how to reverse diet, where you get access to me in a group coaching capacity to ask any questions you want, and I will help you along your reverse diet. So if you do want to sign up for the waitlist for that, link in the description box below. But if the holiday season is always stressful for you because you're scared you're gonna gain weight with every cookie that you eat, I cannot recommend reverse dieting enough. That said, there are some other things that you can focus on now that are not too late to focus on that will help you through this reverse dieting season. When it comes to exercise and holidays, the number one thing that I recommend prioritizing is lifting heavy. Training somewhere in the strength to hypertrophy range. So like 2 to 12 reps, 3 to 6 sets, like in that range. Heavyweight. Turn the holiday season into bulking season. This is the time where you can use those extra calories that you may be consuming the next couple months and turn them into progress. Rather than feeling like the extra cookies that you're eating are you losing progress because you're gonna gain fat, you can instead look at those cookies and go, these cookies are going to fuel my gains in the gym. They're going to help me add muscle to my body, which is going to add definition. It's going to help tone your body. It's gonna allow you to like sculpt and shape your body the way that you want, because muscle really is what gives you shape to your body. Without muscle, you're just skin and fat and bone, which is not super shapely. So purely by being specific with the way that you train to build muscle or to build strength, which in itself is going to be really helpful at speeding up your metabolism, you can transform your perspective on the extra food that you may be consuming from something that is bad and ruining your progress to something that is good and helping you make progress. And that mindset shift in itself, transformative. What I don't recommend doing is doing a ton of extra cardio to like burn off the extra calories. Not only does that kind of promote an unhealthy relationship with food and exercise, but also you're wasting those extra calories that could just be turned into muscle, which will add more shape to your body and just like help you get to where you want to be faster. So don't waste those calories by just like burning them off with cardio. Use them to your advantage. Lift heavy, build muscle. And I guess I have another tip when it comes to exercise, and that is to find a routine that works with your schedule based on whatever you know it's going to be during the holiday season. Holidays are stressful not only because there is a ton of extra food and extra sugar and all of that, but also they're just a busier time. And so it's easier to get sidetracked and not work out as much. And if you know that that's the case, if you know you have a ton of stuff coming up because whatever reason, maybe instead of trying to work out 5 days a week, scale back to 3 days a week and make that intentional shift so that you can be consistent rather than like trying to be consistent with something that isn't quite sustainable for your schedule. So like plan ahead and maybe scale back if you think you need to. Now let's talk about nutrition. This is a big one. I mean, they're all big ones. I'm talking about the pillars of health. They're all very important. But nutrition is where a lot of people focus. My number one tip for this is to prioritize gut health. And I say this because gut health is like the number one thing that just goes out the window when you start eating more sugar, eating more processed foods, consuming a lot more alcohol. Like, your gut's probably not gonna be having a great time with all those things. But your gut is partially responsible for how your body recovers from exercise. It's responsible for how your body breaks down and digests and absorbs nutrients from foods. It affects your mood, it affects your sleep. Basically, if your gut is off, everything else is gonna be off. If we were to break the body down into parts and put them in a pyramid of like baseline importance for health, gut health would be at the base of the pyramid. Like without your gut health, everything else above it kind of crumbles. So do what you can to nourish your gut, protect your gut, optimize gut health. This can include making sure you're eating enough fiber, making sure you're getting enough nutrients in your diet, adding in some probiotic sources of food. Or I even highly recommend adding in a probiotic because this can be extremely helpful in regulating your gut health. The probiotic that I recommend and that I take daily is from Seed. It is top quality probiotic. Seed's Daily Synbiotic is a 24 strain prebiotic and probiotic formula developed for benefits beyond just digestive health. So not only can it promote better gut health, but it can also promote better hair health, skin health, heart health, immune health, etc. It's the first in a pipeline of clinically studied next generation products. If you guys know me, you know I am an absolute
supplement nerd.
And I have very, very high standards for the supplements that I choose to put in my body. I do thorough research on everything that I decide to try and especially decide to recommend. There are a lot of pills and products and probiotics out there that promise to be like magic in a bottle, but they're lying to you. They're lying to you. A lot of them are lying to you. And with all of that noise out there, it can be really difficult to discern what products are actually helpful and which ones are just kind of like BSing their way with marketing. But Seed is just as dedicated to the science and the research as I am, which is why I absolutely love their product and highly recommend. So if you are looking for something to support your gut health during the holiday season or literally whenever, because I take this daily regardless of whether or not it's the holidays, I do highly recommend checking out Seed. You can get 15% off of your first month's supply of Seed's Daily Synbiotic if you use the code FITAndNerdy at checkout. I'll leave a link down in the description box below. Go check it out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And of course, big shout out to Seed for sponsoring this video. I always love working with companies that are just so dedicated to the science and like so much in alignment with my own values when it comes to nutrition and health. My next tip when it comes to nutrition is focus on balanced meals. On days that you decide that you want to indulge, I recommend focusing on getting in your veggies and getting in your protein first and then go all out. Like do whatever. Like if you decide, hey, today is the day, I'm gonna eat an entire pie, go for it. Just eat some protein and veggies first. And this is really gonna help balance your blood sugar so that you don't end up on a blood glucose roller coaster, so that you end up feeling horrible. Basically, you know, when you eat like a ton of sugar and then a couple hours later you're like, oh my God, I feel disgusting. Part of that is your blood glucose just like tanking. If you eat some protein and veggies before you indulge, that's gonna kind of just help you not feel so bad. And this will kind of help minimize any overindulgence that would be due to just like being hungry and instead let you just indulge because mentally you decide that you want to indulge. And kind of along these lines, my next tip is to eat before you go out to a place where you would plan on indulging. So if you're gonna go to a Christmas party, you know there's gonna be a ton of indulgent things there and maybe you're like, I don't necessarily feel like today's the day where I want to just go all out and eat all of the things. I kind of, you know, want to feel more in control of my appetite and my cravings. Eat a whole meal before you go, even if they're going to be giving you like real dinner and dessert. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I show up and there's a beautiful buffet of all of the delicious foods and I'm hungry, I'm heading for the dessert. I'm gonna start off with a brownie and then maybe go back to the other food depending on the mood that I'm in. But if I show up having eaten a bunch of protein and veggies and like a very balanced meal, and then I get there and the dessert's there, I can make a beeline for the dessert. I can have as much dessert as I want because I'm already full and satiated from the meal that I had before. And so any craving that I have is just mental. It's not also hunger driving me and like causing me to shovel just brownie after brownie into my mouth. And then my next tip for like parties or holiday events that you may be going to, if there's going to be food, is BYOD, bring your own dish. And I recommend making it, you guessed it, something that has a good amount of protein and veggies so that you have something there that you can just start your night off with before you go down the rest of the buffet and eat whatever else it is that you want to eat. Okay, moving on to the next pillar of health, sleep. My tip for this is sleep. The better your sleep, the more balanced your blood sugar is gonna be, the fewer cravings you're gonna have, the more self-control you're gonna have, the less your body will literally be driving you to seek out energy in the quickest form possible, which tends to be sugar. Like, lack of sleep actually deprives your brain of glucose. And so when you're really tired, your body is going to actively seek out sugar to get you that hit of glucose so that your brain can have the energy that it needs. So if you don't want your body to be driving you to eat all the sugar, like, not that you can't eat all the brownies if you want to, but it's better to want to eat them and eat them than to have your body be like, please eat these brownies because we need glucose because you didn't sleep enough, you know? So get your 8 hours, plan ahead, make sure you have enough time to sleep when you go to bed. Like, stop procrastinating. Those of you watching this at 3 a.m. that have to get up at 7 a.m., go to bed. I know there's at least one of you that applies to. Go to bed. This video will be here tomorrow. I have a ton of videos about tips for getting better quality sleep, so I'll link those below. But one thing worth mentioning in regards to the holidays is, since alcohol consumption tends to increase, alcohol greatly diminishes sleep quality. It might make you feel like, you know, you go to bed and pass out immediately, but being unconscious and being in deep sleep are two very different things. Alcohol destroys sleep quality. So like I'm not saying never have a drink, it's horrible, it's blah, 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 but like, just be mindful of that. And know that if you drink one night and wake up the next day and you have all of these cravings and stuff, it may just be because you got poor quality sleep because you drank the last night. As a health note, I do recommend minimizing alcohol intake as much as possible. Just important disclaimer. But I'm not making this video to tell you guys to restrict things in any way, shape, or form. So you do you. I just want you guys to feel good. Last pillar of health is stress, and I'm kind of lumping mindset in with stress as well because they're very closely intertwined. So my first tip for a mindset shift is something that I always say, so this is relevant at all times of the year, but maybe particularly helpful for some of you now, is prioritize health. Don't think about aesthetics as much. When you're able to prioritize health, the aesthetics usually fall into place. Because if you're making healthy decisions, they're usually decisions that align with your aesthetic goals. But it feels so much less restrictive to be making decisions based on how food is going to make you feel, rather than whether food is going to make you fat. The former has a lot more positive energy involved. Like, striving to be healthy is a very positive thing, whereas the latter has a lot more guilt and shame involved. Making a decision about food based on how it's going to make you feel about yourself and how you look kind of forces you to consider that shame and guilt. So focus on health, deprioritize aesthetics. Next thing to consider is stop thinking about a fitness journey as falling off the wagon or like being on the wagon. So here's the thing about the wagon. You're not some passenger in the back of the wagon that can just get like booted out of the wagon. You are in the driver's seat of the wagon. And when you put yourself in the driver's seat, it's so much more empowering. And you can get rid of all of this shame and guilt and instead just make conscious decisions about where you want to go with the wagon. For example, you can choose to pull the wagon off the track and park in a parking lot and get out of the wagon on Christmas or on Thanksgiving or on New Year's or any other day in between if you choose. And this doesn't mean you're stuck off the wagon because you haven't fallen off the wagon and broken your leg. You decided to step off the wagon and you can get right back on the wagon because it's right there. You have the keys to get in the door. So open the door, get back in the wagon, and keep driving. This is actually something I can ramble on for days about because it's very closely tied into like the victim mentality and all of that. And there's such a huge empowering shift that comes with putting yourself in the driver's seat of the wagon when it comes to your fitness journey and life in general. But in the context of the holiday season and falling off the wagon, if you can choose to reframe that mentality around it, then it's a lot easier to stay on the wagon when you are aware that the wagon is there for you whenever you want it to be. Another tip is looking at these upcoming months as season versus holidays. Depending on what you celebrate, there's like 3 to 5, 6, 7 days of actual holiday in the next 2.5 months. But if you look at it as a season, it's 2.5 months. There's a big difference between 2.5 months and like 7 days. I fully and 100% support not giving a single thought to your fitness journey on holidays themselves, or any day that you specifically choose to be a day that you set aside to dedicate to family, connection, fun, whatever it may be. When we focus on the next 2.5 months as like the holiday season, it's a lot more overwhelming, because then, you know, every time you see a pumpkin spice latte, it's like, oh my god, it's pumpkin spice latte season, I need to have one. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good pumpkin spice latte, but those things add up when it's like all those little things over 2.5 months where you get excited because it's holiday season. Holiday season comes around every year. Those pumpkin spice lattes are not going anywhere. And I think a lot of us also think about the holiday season as being about food. I know when I think holiday season, I think sugar cookies, which is weird because those are not even my top 3 favorite kind of cookie, but that's what my brain does. Christmas, sugar cookie. But what if I told you the holiday season doesn't have to be about food? You don't have to deviate from your fitness and nutrition plan for all of the holiday parties and pumpkin carvings and tree decoratings and whatever else it may be that you're doing during this holiday season. You can pick a few days during the holidays and have those as like your holiday from fitness. And other than that, focus on the other things that matter during the season, which again is like family and connection and friendship and whatever else it is that you want to focus on. There are many other ways to find joy and happiness in the holidays outside of the delicious food that does present itself more readily during this time. And then something to let go of when it comes to mindset is seeing January as a reset. I think that kind of tends to get into everyone's head as they're like, oh, well, January is just around the corner. I'll just start over in January. But that's just like every single time you've ever said, oh, I'll just start over on Monday when it's Wednesday. Going all out during the holidays and then doing like a reset in January is literally just a binge restrict mentality. There's no balance there. You'd be better off in the short term and the long term finding balance throughout the year and throughout the holidays. And also think of it, the 2.5 months from mid-October through December, that's 20% of the year. That's a significant amount of time. And if this is every year, that's 20% of your life. Like, yes, it may feel like January is just around the corner, but overall, it kind of adds up. And I'm all for the 80-20 rule, but I don't recommend being like super strict 80% of the year, 100% of the time, and then basically binging for 20% of the year. Again, that's just binge restrict. And if you do try to do this, it just makes it so much harder in January when you like get back on track and start going to the gym and doing your juice cleanse. Please don't do a juice cleanse in January, I swear to God. But it makes it that much harder for you when you do get back into it. And this is why people don't like fitness, is because they have these 2.5 months of making things harder, and then they go try to do the fitness thing and it's really freaking hard. And they feel miserable because they're coming down from a sugar crash. Also, there's no sunshine in January, so everyone has seasonal affective disorder. Good luck feeling good going to the gym, eating your vegetables when you haven't been for multiple months straight. Like, it's just, don't make it hard on yourself. And then another thing to let go of is the idea that you can only indulge during the holiday season. You know, you can make gravy and stuffing and mashed potatoes year-round. You can make sugar cookies year-round. I think what needs to be evaluated is if you feel so restricted during the rest of the year that you feel the need to binge on all of these delicious foods during the holidays, you need to think about the rest of the year, not the holidays themselves. Like, that to me says you're not finding balance in your day-to-day outside of the holiday season. Because when you have balance, when you have a good relationship with food, when you don't overly restrict, then when these foods present themselves in increased frequency during the holiday season, they're nowhere near as tempting. I personally don't restrict any foods. I basically eat what I want when I want. And so for me, what that means during this season is if someone does offer me a cookie, or, you know, I go to a Christmas party that has all of the delicious things, I see those and I'm like, I eat these whenever I want anyway, so they're no more tempting than they normally are. And I probably do eat them a little bit more because there is the increased frequency of being around them, but it's not to the extent of like, I see these things and I eat an excessive amount that I wouldn't normally eat. And my last tip for you guys is enjoy. Like I said, fitness should feel good. If at any point trying to pursue or achieve a specific fitness goal is making you feel bad, is making you feel guilty, is making you feel ashamed, then I recommend altering your perspective, your approach, something, so that you can feel good about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. This is gonna sound just super cheesy, but if you can find the joy in the journey, then the timeline of getting to the results doesn't really matter as much because you're enjoying the process as you go through it. It gets rid of so much pressure to achieve your goals in a certain amount of time, and it just makes everything feel so much easier and better. So on that note, I think I'm gonna leave you guys here. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you got something out of it. Make sure you do check out Seed Symbiotic, link in the description box below. Use the code FITAndNerdy to get yourself 15% off your first order. If you liked this video, just give it a big thumbs up. It really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more content from me all about health and fitness, you can check it out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!